open it up for questions.
Well, it's like kind of the same line as Brady. Last week didn't go the way you wanted to. How hard is that to shake that up and move forward when you got two big games this week?
Yeah, I liked how we practiced coming back from break. We all didn't like how we played, but we liked how we practiced. And I think we just came out and really had a stinker, man. I don't know. There's a lot of words to use for it. That's probably the cleanest version I can tell you. I like how we're practicing right now. That leaves a taste in your mouth and you're feeling in your gut. And I like to think you want to get back out and compete. And so that's the approach we're taking this week. We got two really good teams coming in. So there's nobody, or there's no time and nobody that's feeling sorry for you. So you gotta pick yourself back up and get out and compete.
I know we talked about lineups before. You had a different one on Friday, but was the talent so even on your team? It's
Yep.
hard to get a rotation set. Is that hard to get a starting lineup?
It has been, but we also need to get to a point where we're sticking with the lineup more, and I think that's something that we're really trying to define better. And it's not something you want to be with this time of the year rolling around that you're still kind of searching for a lineup. So I think we're to the point now where we're really looking at trying to establish it and keep it there. And obviously we've wanted to do that from the start. It's just been difficult to do that.
Because you had so many guys that could do so many things.
Yeah, I think consistency's been the word that we've been trying to use. Is the day-to-day consistency, game-to-game consistency. Who are we going to get? Each day, each game, and there's been a little bit of up and down with that, and then we're also trying to put guys in position of their strengths the best we can, and guys like Brady and Elijah, we're trying to look for ways to get them on the court at the same time because they both have statistically been really good, don't turn it over much, efficient, both can guard. But it's sometimes you just we went back and probably going back to more of a traditional point guard this week and it's a little bit of a swinging door and we got to get that door to stop swinging so much.
Yeah, Brady is. I think you can plug him in all over the place, and you have for years.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife, right? That's what he is, and he can guard a lot of different, really valuable. And even like as he's gone on this year, I think this year compared to the last few is I think that role for him, like he really understands, and he's so bought into that role. There's times where he does score, but man, he moves without the ball. He does things offensively to help his teammates, and defensively you can put him on anybody. So there's a comfort there, right? I mean, there becomes that kind of old blanket you don't want to throw away, right? That I think every day provides that consistency that as a program. So there's an example with that every day for him, for our guys to see, and so that's he's been really important that way.
Last thing for me, South Dakota. What's their scouting work? I know they have issues with coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping, Coach Petey the best in his recovery, and I don't know whether or not we'll see him or not, but I know that he's been fighting and recovering from an incident, and but they're experienced. They got really good guards. Their post kid in Comateros is a inside-outside problem. He can shoot it well. He can post well. And they're really defined in their roles and who they are, and you're really starting to see that, especially the last couple conference games they've had at home, they're building confidence in their identity and who they are. So you can see it on film. There's no doubt.
Paul played here last year. Is that an issue or not even a thought now?
Well, I think I think by this time of the year, they've, and I'm sure Paul, but us as well, you got to move on with it and play. And I think if you're holding those kind of things too close to your heart, I think those things get in the way. And, for us, it's about us and our team and the guys we have. And we got a really good team in USD, and Paul's a part of that team. So we got to come out clear mind, ready to compete.
Not to look too far back on last week, but maybe just how did you grow maybe in the first even hour or two after that North Dakota State game? Just what was said to the team? How did you guys come together?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, our energy and just our, were we prepared to play? And that was the exact question I said to our guys in the locker room. And they all feel like they were really prepared to play. Then you ask, well, then what happened? And sometimes for them, it's a hard question to even put your finger on it like it is for us. These things do happen. I don't feel like it's been an issue for our team this year. Like, we haven't had games where you sit in a locker room afterwards and you're like going, wow, we didn't have a lot of fight. And we didn't. I feel like we've had games where we've fought our butt off and didn't make free throws, or fought our butt off and maybe had a few turnovers, but we've always really fought. So, I mean, that competitive spirit, you'd like to think, is something you really learn from it, that, hey, what's it take to show up every night in league play? But I don't care if it's league play, non-league play, every time you step on that floor, the competitive spirit, the individual accountability to being ready to play and compete on both ends of the floor and on the glass, and handle adversity are things that we didn't do well that night. And let's see how we respond this week.
You touched on Paul, but Cruz has been doing really well for the Yotes too. I think he had a career best in the last game, 30 points. You went from protecting Grant Nelson last week to now him. Just
well, and he's just part of it too, because Plitzowite's a guy that can do that as well. Mason Archambault has been a guy that's not scoring as much this year, but is fully capable of doing that too. And then we know Paul can. So, like, the issue then becomes a guy like Kamateros is playing better right now. As a post for them, his ability to score in and maybe have to draw a double team, now that you got shooters all around, but he can also step out and make threes and put pressure on you that way. So, like, they'll have a lot of times, with the exception of maybe Hayes, but Hayes is such a king in his role. Like, he lives off offensive rebounds, off defending, off setting good screens. That's all he cares about doing, so he fulfills that role so well. But, man, they can put some shooters on the floor around a post that can really play. So Cruz played really well, but there's other guys that can do the same thing he did. So we got a big job in front of us with all those perimeter players.
And then just the fact of having your three biggest rivals back to back,
Yeah.
all at home too.
Yeah, like I said, this is. I just feel like athletics is such an awesome opportunity to perform at a high level and go out and you put work in all this time, and these games are they're opportunities to go out there and show, hey, this is what we've been doing, this is what we've been working on, and this is the kind of team we are, and that's what we want to go out and show that well, and we didn't the other night, but man, we want to come out and compete our butts off this week.
Anything else